I did a video recently looking at trending repos and writing an app to collect that data so we can have it historically. But I thought today, let's just have a look at some of the repos and see what we've got. Maybe we'll see your repo. Maybe we'll see you there. So what have we got today? So I'm looking through these repos and you can see this first one on the list got 33 stars today with a total of 628. So it's great to see not just the massive projects there, but other projects that are up and coming and growing, although that's pretty big, but you get what I mean. And then this one caught my eye, build your own X. And initially I thought build your own X as in Twitter platform. But when I dug into it, I realized that it had 260,000 stars and there isn't much in the repo. There is a lot of content. I'm not trying to belittle the value of the project, but the terms of the files, like my initial thoughts, the files were 3. There weren't that many. You could fit them on less than one hand, as in 3. But the README, it was updated 2 months ago. It's where all the content is. And so I started scrolling down and having a look. And I thought, okay, well, where are these links going? So let's click on one and have a look. So if we pick operating system or, I don't know, game, then it goes down the README to the section of games. And I saw Phaser and other kind of tools for making games. And I thought this was pretty awesome. And then this links to other repos. So it does show that your repo doesn't have to be the next groundbreaking platform, algorithm, AI tool in the world. It can be informational, right? It needs to add value. So I think this was a great repo that I came across to also remind me that it is important to add value. And that value can be a diagram. It can be text files, just one README file, 260,000 stars. I mean, that's really impressive. I don't know what you think. Let me know in the comments below. So let's go build your own Git. I thought this was quite interesting with JavaScript, Gitlet. So if we click on that, let's have a look. Is that gone to... Yeah, it's gone to the website of that project. It might go to the project itself. I guess it depends on what the link is, but it's not staying within that repo is the point I'm trying to make. So this is, looks quite interesting. I'm not going to go into too much detail of it, but it does sound really interesting. I think there's a lot to explore here. Maybe a dedicated video on this would be interesting. Do let me know if that's something that you would like and we can actually go through, because I don't know how many there are, but there are quite a lot. I mean, it'd be nice to have a total, but with Markdown, we can't get that, and no one's going to keep up to date. So there's no point adding a total to the top that we manually update, because it will get out of date very, very quickly. I think there's just loads to look through, and I could, like I said, spend a long time on this. So I'm going to leave this open for me, and let's go back to the list of trending repos and see what we've got. You'll notice by default, it's English, language any, and date range today. But we can change this, and we might have a play with what's trending over the week and the month and see. But what else have we got? Okay, so we see ChatGPT. It's obviously going to be a popular one. I don't think it's the official one, or is it? 47,000 looks pretty official to me. But this is the desktop application. I think I've actually seen this. This does look really interesting, where you can actually run it locally on your machine, if I remember correctly. So that is pretty cool. I have had to play with this, and you can get the right models for the power of your computer, which is pretty cool. I see NeoVim here. That's very popular. I do see it on Twitter, people talking about it. I haven't actually used it myself yet, but it's something I do want to look into. So what else do we have? Paperless. That sounds pretty cool. Written in Python, built by lots of people. It looks really good. We can dig into these. Let's have a look. I mean, a Jekyll theme is trending. It's only got 8 stars today. Again, it shows that you don't have to have 1,000 stars per day to trend. And these are probably trending from the results yesterday. So it says today, but it probably means yesterday, right? We've got to collect that information to create this page. So let's, I'm just curious to have a look at this, because I really like Jekyll and there are other tools that you can use, but I'm curious to see what gets 6.3 thousand stars and 5.2 thousand forks. So it'd be great to see some screenshots. I like that screenshot. They got half and half. That's really clever to do light and dark mode. I think I'm gonna have to use that on my projects. But I really like it's got like syntax highlighting, PWA, like lots of useful things. So I can kind of get why it's popular. I think I might have to come back to this later on. So I might give that a star, and I'm going to star this one as well. Oh, did you see that? I've just bumped it from 260 to 260.1. Like, I feel like wow, I actually had an impact by starring a project. So don't forget to star projects because you do have an impact and they do add up. And they really give motivation to the project. It doesn't cost you anything. So star projects and support them. So happy I've never done that before. So that was so cool, especially such a big number, just that number to tip it over the edge. Like when you see something with like 99 stars and you star it and you're the 100th person, I think that's pretty cool. But to see a big number like bump a little bit, I don't know, maybe it's just me. This one looked quite interesting. SpotTube, I don't know how to pronounce it. How do you pronounce it? Open source Spotify client that doesn't require premium and doesn't use Electron. I mean, that sounds pretty interesting. Is it legal? I don't know. It'd be quite interesting to see. Almost 25,000 stars, written in Dart, mostly. Sounds quite interesting. No ads thanks to the use of public and free Spotify and YouTube Music APIs. Interesting. I think that's something I need to take a look at as well. So I'm not going to start it just yet, but I'm going to have a look at it. If it's something I use, and I think I'll start it and support. So that looks great. What else can we look at on this trending page? As I mentioned, we can do monthly. We can also do developers. And I do like to have a look through this and see if I recognize any people on this as well. I think I recognized someone here yesterday where I recognized Jess, does lots of amazing work. And I think I filtered by JavaScript and I did recognize someone. Let's have a look. Do you recognize anyone? I think it was Natalia. Maybe it was for the month. I did come across it. Maybe it was yesterday. I'm not sure. But it's just great to see people that you geek out with on Twitter and at conferences and so forth. There you go. Natalia was trending on there as well. So, big shout out to Jess and Natalia. It's so cool. I didn't recognize anyone else. But the other thing that I do look at, and I wonder if you do as well, so GitHub sponsors, I do take a look at this and see what people are working on. Great to see that I've donated almost $1,500 as well over the last couple of years to open source contributors as well. So I'm super happy about that. But I really like how they filter this results on the dependencies of your projects, which I think is really interesting. Some of the stats they've got. This looks really good. So I do also have a look through this as well. Also the events. I'm not sure actually how to get on here. If anyone knows, do let me know. I'm quite curious to see how we get events on there because I'd like to see more events, I guess sponsored by GitHub. So maybe all these events are sponsored by GitHub and they add it manually. I'm not sure. Collections. I do occasionally have a look through this and see because I do find it a great way to discover projects and people. And that's what GitHub's about. It's social coding. So it's great to kind of see what people are working on, like DevOps tools. Let's have a look and see what there are. Yes, there are the usual popular ones, but I'm sure you'll come across ones that you're not expecting, which is what I really like to see and do, is discover the projects that I wasn't expecting. So this one has caught my attention. GitHub on steroids. Let's open it and have a look, and it'll open in the last tab. GitHub on steroids description. That's why description and the repo name is super important. And have a look. Hopefully they've got a screenshot, so I'm curious to see what it does. I'm guessing it's for browser extension, enhances your GitHub code review and exploration for your browser. They do support Safari. Usually most of these extensions are for Chrome. So it's great to see they've got tabs. I mean, it looks really interesting. Again, I'm going to keep this open to have a look at this one in more details. Last commit was 8 months ago, so I do want to check that it's still an active project. Interestingly enough, they don't have releases. So that's something, they do have tags, which is, good enough as well. Kind of the same thing. GitHub dashboard. Okay, we got some interesting one. GitHub selfies. It's quite interesting. I need to have a look. Okay. I know you want to have a look as well. Hasn't been updated in 4 years. Okay. Interesting. Okay. And a selfie. I think that's quite funny. It seems to be quite popular, but hasn't been active in a while. I am going to close that one. But the other thing I also wanted to show you, and I'm curious if you look at these as well. So we looked at trending, we looked at GitHub sponsors, events, and collections. Now we're working our way back to topics, and then we'll do explore next. So topics, you can star these topics, and it's like starring a repo when it appears in your feed in the explore, which I'll show you in a minute. But you can start a topic, which I know I have done, things like React or JavaScript. It's more broad, more wide, and therefore we can get notified about anything interesting in those areas that the algo thinks is interesting. So you can have a look through this and awesome lists. I mean, there are awesome lists out there, as we saw right at the beginning of this video. So just having a look. So there's lots of great stuff in there. And if we go to the explore, then it will create this list based on your activity, what you've done. So for example, I have 4 starred topics. I think I need to add a few more to that. I actually have 144 starred repos. Here's what we found based on your interests. So Flagsmiths based on a repository you've starred. And then this one is based on a repository you've viewed. So when I was exploring various repositories, it's showing me those repositories. Maybe I want to start them. Maybe I want to look further into them based on topics you've starred as well. So I think it's super interesting. I don't know, how often do you look at this? Actually, that could be a good tweet. I'd be curious to know, to see how often you look at this. This recommendation was created by GitHub staff. It's always interesting to know. I mean, that's why I went on Twitter in the first place many, many years ago, was there was so much content out there, but how could I get content that was filtered by people I trusted? And that's why I went on Twitter. And it's great to see that I can see some suggested content from someone who's vetted it and thought it was great and decided to share it as well. So this is something I need to look more into, I think. And they've got the events in this page as well, which has the event on the events page we saw earlier. Star topics that interest you. So it's great. Again, they're encouraging you to customize this feed for yourself. So it looks really good and based on people you follow. I think that's really interesting as well, because I follow those people because I'm interested in their topics and which projects they're contributing to and starring and so forth. So super interesting. I really, really like this. I need to have a look more at this and let me know what you discover as well. I think that's about it for this section. I like it that they've got trending repos on the right and trending developers. Again, it's just a bit more of a dashboard style. I wonder if we could create a dashboard that combines a lot more of this, because it'd be great to see underneath here on the left, maybe some GitHub sponsors or events or something like that. Again, make more use of that real estate. But it was great going through this with you, and I'm really keen to hear what you think about these pages and how often you look at it. I look at them probably once a month, but I'm actually going to change that. I think I want to do it kind of every morning with my coffee to see what's going on in the heartbeat of the open source world on GitHub. Yes, I do look at the EdiHub community and the EdiHub Discord, which is focused on open source, but it'd be great to get more of a wider view of what else is going on as well. So I'm going to pin this to one of my tabs so it's something I can look at daily. I look forward to geeking out with you in the EdiHub community. Link in the description below. I'll see you there.